Welcome, your trade of the day, as always, brought to you by Day Trade the World. Check that QR code below. Get your journey started the right way. If you started your journey shorting Tesla, you probably were looking pretty good. And the trade of the day is going to be Tesla. I'll admit, I was actually favoring NIO to the short side this morning, but there was one thing I wanted to do with Tesla. And as they always say, don't be Leroy Jenkins, stick to the plan. I'm glad I did here. I actually am going to show a split adjusted chart. And so I got my trade ideas chart up here. Usually I'll show the higher time frame, but I do have a weekly chart of Tesla split adjusted just so I can go way back and show you back in pandemic times, because these are the levels we're dealing with here. And you got this 112 area. So if you look at some of the key areas here, you did have a bit of a bounce back up off of this 112, 115 channel. And this is what I think we were going to be dealing with today, which was a breakdown of the 15 and then a line down around here at these 12 levels on the daily chart. So pretty big levels coming into play. I had the 20 marked off as well. And this is where it brings to, I like the dip off that 12 on the daily. Go all the way back to 2020. I would have been short this if I wasn't short NIO, and then if it gave an entry off 120, which it did not, but I allow it to come to me. If you're thinking the dip against the grain, I've said this before, and I've made this mistake myself in the past. You want it the first time. So if you come into a key support level and you expect there to be buyers at that level, whether it's a 52-week low, whether it's a big level on the weekly, whether it could just be the low of the week. You want it that first time so when support comes in, you have a good chance at a bounce. So there was no messing around. When it bounced off 112, first it went to about 112.20, got into position. It gave a quick little scalp trade right up to that 50 level and then right back into the bottom, holding 12 even, add to the position again. That's it. This is going to be the entry point. Either it'll hold at that point or it doesn't. Now, what I like to do, and you're going to notice a couple of purple outs there, I like to layer orders out. So if you get that initial dollar pop, I'm scalping on the way up. As it moved to the upside, I realized those were a little bit too aggressive. It didn't seem like it was strong enough at that point. So I was actually crossing out to take those 30, 40, 50 cent scalps inside of that range while I already had take profits. Those did mark short, but I was in a long position. You then got the extended move once it got past the half. And at this point, I'm thinking pretty clean. I want that previous price acceptance channel, 115 to 114. I want to look for that as a target, so that'd be about that 114 area. Once it tests and failed it, slap a trail on that one and in and out. When taking a bottom pick, I want it to be clean ideally. It won't always be clean. But the mode of action that I want to see is catch the bid, hold the low, get that one bounce, and get out of Dodge. Here's where you don't want to be a Leroy Jenkins. If I like that 112 as a support level, and it's the only trade I had lined up for Tesla, well, what do I start doing when it comes back there again? I'm like, oh man, there's no way it holds the second time. It's got to be a short the second time. Well, of course it was a long the second time. But I'm thinking short all the way, just scalp short out, trying to make the short work off of that same level breaking that just held. So if you stick to the plan, I got my key level of support, long until it breaks. Look at how easy it would have been to put the exact trade on a second time, heck, maybe even a third time. If you like a key level, you want to make sure you exhaust that trade because they don't come around all the time. I love Tesla 112 today. Obviously, the short would have been fantastic, but quite frankly, you could have shorted any of the EV names off the open. They all worked out. I was looking for the dip buy in Tesla. That's why it's your trade of the day, as always, brought to you by Day Trade the World.